His distinctive, powerful vocals and impeccable skill on the drums have made him one of the most successful British artists of all time. He is responsible for arguably one of the most famous drum fills of all time. Over the years, he has thrilled audiences with hit after hit, churning out a massive stream of classic songs that have resonated with audiences around the globe. He is one of only a few artists to be inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame twice. First as a member of Genesis in 2010 and then as a solo artist in 2021. He is one of only 3 recording artists, along with Paul McCartney and Michael Jackson, who have sold over 100 million records, both as solo artists and separately as a member of a band. This is the brief history of the multi-talented Phil Collins. Philip David Charles Collins was born and raised in West London. His love for the drums began at the age of 5 when he was given a toy drum kit. By the age of 12 he was given a real set of drums and he played every chance he could get. Phil Collins completed drama school training, which secured him various roles as a child actor. His first acting role, aged just 13 years old, was of the Artful Dodger in the West End musical of Oliver. During his early career, he co-founded the jazz fusion band Brand X, inspired by his love of all things jazz. His first big musical break came in 1970 when he answered a newspaper advert in The Melody Maker from the band Genesis that needed a drummer and backup vocalist. The band Genesis originally formed at the Charterhouse School in 1967. The group's early music was influenced by progressive rock and featured complex, multi-compositions and a heavy reliance on keyboards and synthesizers. Phil Collins' arrival in the band marked a turning point in Genesis as he introduced a more pop-orientated approach and sound. In 1975, Phil Collins became the face of Genesis when Peter Gabriel left the band to embark on a solo career. The group had initially auditioned some 400 singers to replace their frontman, and Phil Collins didn't initially want to take over as their lead singer. The change from Peter Gabriel to Phil Collins was significant. Unlike Gabriel, Phil Collins didn't want to dominate the stage with elaborate costumes. The music slowly evolved from conceptual that defined the band's early sound towards a more radio-friendly style. With Phil Collins' powerful distinctive voice and catchy melodies helped to make Genesis one of the most popular bands of the mid-70s, the 80s and even into the 90s. Genesis music went through different stages. In the 70s, Genesis concerts were a theatrical experience with innovative stage design and extravagant costumes. In the late 70s and early 80s, the band's musical direction changed once again, becoming more pop-orientated and commercially accessible, with albums such as Abaca, Genesis and Invisible Touch. With this new commercial style, they ended up selling millions of copies and producing hit singles such as In Too Deep, Mama and Land of Confusion. The band's success continued well into the 90s. Phil Collins' solo career was heavily influenced by his personal life and soul music. His singles sometimes dealt with lost love and featured his distinctive gated reverb drum sound. His first solo single, In the Air Tonight, was released on January 1981. This emotionally charged pop song reached number 2 in the UK singles charts. In 1984, the track featured on the pilot episode of the 1980s TV show Miami Vice. The drummer himself appeared in one of the second season's episodes as a long-time con man. His song Life is a Rat Race also featured in the episode. After a hiatus in the late 90s, Genesis reformed in 2007 with a lineup that consisted of Collins, Banks and Rutherford. And the band has continued to tour and release new music. But in 2021, Phil Collins did announce on stage that this would be the last show for Genesis.
Last stop of our tour. And it's the last show for Genesis.
There's no doubt that Phil Collins is one of pop's key pioneers and labelled by one critic as the godfather of popular culture, appealing to younger generations happy to go back in time and discover great artists and bands. Like this next band, whose music and fashion sense helped define the 80s, and it was Duran Duran, coming up in this next video.